All right, looking at Bryant Creek, we're parked on the county road. We're at the northeast corner of the property, basically. This tract actually does have a little bit of direct frontage on Bryant Creek, not very much, but a few feet. Um, it's actually one of the biggest tracts at Panther Hollow. It may be the biggest tract at Panther Hollow. As we look west, property's on the left side of the creek. Um, and you can see the maps within the listing page and whatnot to kind of see all the measurements. The truck is parked on the county road. This is an old county road. The county hadn't been maintaining it because basically the people that lived out here came in from the south. So we did speak to the county, and they said they would start to grade that and maintain it. But it's still going to be a four-wheel drive access road because you drive literally directly over Bryant Creek and then up a long hillside. But essentially the property borders the county road along its entire south and east sides. And we're going to get up and get oriented. In about a minute, it looks like we've spliced in a couple maps that show you how the property is situated, so that should be helpful. The guy taking the video told me, or told us, I guess, that the sun had been out, it had been beautiful, and then right when he launched the drone, essentially it clouded over. So we've got kind of an overcast video here, but we're still going to get a good look at this property. And again, we're on the north side or northeast side, and now we're looking southerly at the property. It's really an absolutely unique tract. So there's Bryant Creek. You can see the truck on the county road. County road crosses the creek, keeps going toward the bottom of the screen, but the property's on the other side where the truck is. So as we're looking southerly, the county road goes up, curves to the left. You can see that entire big ridge right in the middle of the screen. Essentially, that whole ridge is the property. It extends all the way to the right. You can see a farm way off to the right. There's a fence line just before the farm, and that's going to be the western boundary of the property. There we go. So tract 15, right in the center. You can see Bryant Creek. We are launching the drone right up where Bryant Creek meets the property. You can see how it just has a little bit of creek frontage there. We're going to fly to the south, to the southern tip, and then kind of fly back to the middle, go east, end up where we started. The property is the highest actually on the west side. So you see that farmer's big barn. There's a large level area right there extending onto the property, and actually there's a topo map coming up, and that'll be helpful. So that's the highest point. It slopes down as you go north and east, and here comes the topo, I believe. There we go. Okay, highest point. As we mentioned, that west side, you can see the flat area. It slopes down. As you go north from there, it slopes quite aggressively. As you go east, it's a long ridge, a long steady ridge sloping down roughly through the center of the property. You can see the county road. Those yellow marks we had our tracking function on, so that's where we were driving and walking on the property. Okay, so right now we're looking south. That essentially that whole ridge you see is the property. The county road goes up to the left. You can see the far left side of the screen. It then wraps around the ridge, goes way up to the right again, and basically borders the entire property. I mean, you've got dozens of potential building sites that would have incredible views on this property. You could be as private as you want to be. It's basically all wooded other than a small portion of meadow area at the south side. So as far as a secluded site for an RV or a home or a cabin or a food plot or just a place to drive your truck and park your tent, you've got a lot of options here. So now we're looking due west. Property's on the right side of that county road. You can see how the county road then curves and goes through that meadow area. And it essentially meets up, that's Panther Hollow Road, essentially meets up on the south side to the portion of the county road that is still in use. Now we're looking northerly. I believe we're going to back way up here and get a pretty good look at this. Okay, so the bottom left of the screen, that straight road, that's the county road that's in use. You can see where the neighbor's driveway cuts off to the left. You can see, if you look just straight down the middle of the screen, the property sits to the right of essentially that farm there. There's going to be a fence line on the east side of his farm, which is basically going to be your west line of your property. So you can see that small section of meadow area between the farm and the old county road, which is still a county road, as we mentioned. It just hasn't been maintained. So that meadow area that you're looking at, you can't see it from the drone necessarily, but it's got a pretty good slope to it. That, unless you're doing a walkout home, that wouldn't be ideal. But once you get back up into the timber, it starts to level out. And then you have that large level area that the topo map showed. I mean, it looks like you'd be, fairly close to that farm, but once you get back 100 feet, 200 feet, especially on a wooded property like this, you're still going to have an insane amount of privacy. And if you get back 300, 400, 500 feet, I mean, you could come and go and no one would ever know you're there. So now we're looking northerly from directly over the property, essentially the west side of the property. Now we're transitioning toward the east. You can see that those meadows off in the distance. Bryant Creek runs to the right side of those meadows, the south side. So now we're looking easterly over that big private ridge that is right on the property. So again, it's a very overcast video, but you can kind of get a feel for the view you could have. I mean, you'd have to remove some of this big timber to open up that view, but it's there. I mean, the way the property slopes down as you go north and east, that view is there. There are a couple spots. We drove down that county road, and a lot of the land, you'd have to do some dirt work to pull off of that county road onto the property, but we saw at least a couple different spots where you could have pulled the truck off the road, and with a little chainsaw work, you could create a nice driveway in sight. Oh, we found at least one active spring on this property. It was active when they were out there. They were taking a video, I believe, going down the road. You could probably see that video on the listing page for this property. And they saw a spring running across the road. So got out, got to see that. That was cool. So now we're looking, get situated. We're looking westerly. Property sits on the right side of the county road there. And the county road actually comes down toward us, loops around, and then goes off to the right all the way down to Bryant Creek. You got some big timber on this property, some big mature timber. Obviously the wildlife love it out here. The deer and turkey, this area in general, but this particular tract, being heavily wooded like that, being adjacent to the meadow on the south, and then Bryant Creek on the north, pretty awesome. Okay, so now we're coming down toward the north side. Those lighter colored greenish trees you see, those are sycamore. You generally only see those down by an active creek, and that's the case here. So there's Bryant Creek. So as we look straight down, we're looking at the creek frontage on the property, which is to the left of that county road. You see the creek. You can see another roadway on the other side of the county road, which is more of a trail. Man, we're spinning around a lot. So Bryant Creek, you can see the truck on the road. To the right of the road, and on the other side of the creek, is where it has just a tiny bit of frontage on Bryant Creek, but it does have direct frontage on Bryant Creek, which is pretty cool in and of itself, let alone on a tract this big. Amazing property. Extremely private, but still just a few miles out of Mansfield, out of Ava, Missouri, Seymour, Missouri. Once you hit Highway 60 to the north of the property, you're less than an hour out of Springfield, which is by far the largest town and largest city in southern Missouri. Gorgeous tract. Check out the website, check out the other videos. If you have any questions, just let us know.